guys, since Gretchen is currently road tripping around California, she can't do a From the Notebook video for you guys, so I'm going to do my Monday musing as a video so that we can sort of keep the same number of videos that usually come out on the channel coming out on the channel. I know it won't be the same because she is ever entertaining and hilarious, and I am not, but I figured I would give it a shot. Today I wanted to talk about how to keep your TBR down. Because I am one of those people who generally has like between 20 and 30 unread books on their bookshelf. I have a little more right now because I've had two pretty decent book hauls of used books and just books that I've accumulated over time. That just one as a video that just came out and you can watch, and the other was a post, which I will link down below. But in general, when I do buy books, I have a tendency to read them almost as soon as I get them, because I don't have that huge backlog of books physically here that need to be read. Now, that isn't always the case. Like I've said, there have been a couple of books that have been on my shelves for years and years that I have, but they've stayed part of this group of like 20 to 30 books that are unread, and it's just because I'm not ready to pick them up. I am definitely one of those people who look at my shelves, go, I'm excited about you, pick it up and read it, and if I look at something and go, oh, I haven't read you in a long time, so I should read you, but it's not the right time and I'm not feeling it, I tend to get into reading slumps, and that's one of the biggest things of why you don't see a lot of TBRs from me and Gretchen, and when you do see them, it's us saying, might not read these, because if I'm not interested in it at that very moment, I'm not going to read it, because I'm not going to love it, and I might love it when it's the right time. I don't want to give a book an unfair ruling just because I picked it up at the wrong time. So how do I do it? How do I keep these low numbers of TBR books on my shelves? One being that I don't buy a lot of books very often. I'll pick up one or two every once in a while, not very often. Usually about the rate that I read books will be about the rate that I pick books up, with the exceptions of things like when I go to a used bookstore and they're having a sale, buy four get one free, and then I get 10 books and I'm like, oh god, what do I do? But in any case, usually I'm only picking up a couple books at a time, which makes it easier because it means that I'm exchanging books that I have read for books that I haven't in my shelves. The other way that I do it is that I sort of curb my need to get new books constantly by going to my library. Those are books that I can be like, oh my god, the hype's getting to me, I need to get this book right now, I have it in my hands, and if I'm not ready to read it, it goes back to the library in 3 weeks when it's due, so that it's not a waste of my money. It's not going to sit on my shelf for months because I don't actually want to read it, I just feel like I should read it because everybody's talking about it, and otherwise, I read it right away because I have that time limit, I have that time crunch of like, oh, I have to get this done first as a priority because it has to go back to the library. And that's another way. I'm really excited about it, I'm going to read it quickly, whereas if it wasn't a library book, I might go, oh, I can put it off until later because I have all of these other things I can read. So that's another way to do it, is use your local library, guys. It's a great resource to sort of save you time and money, because you get the same feeling of, ooh, I got all the shiny new books, without having to pay for them. The other thing I have been utilizing, and this is more for books that are on my like general TBR, like my Goodreads TBR, which has over 1,000 books on it, again, using my local library, but listening to audiobooks. When I get home from work, sometimes I'm too tired to sit and actually read and focus on a book. I have to wear my glasses. My eyes are tired, it's giving me a headache, whatever reason it is. I can open up my Overdrive app and close my eyes, turn all the lights off, and have somebody read me a bedtime story, essentially. And that has helped me get through a lot of books, especially since I'm able to listen to them at like 2 times speed. It's very helpful in that case, because what would be like a 12-hour audiobook is then a 6-hour audiobook, but not everybody is able to listen to them at that speed. In any case, listening to like half an hour before bed sort of spreads that out, and it makes it a little bit easier to get through it. I don't often listen to audiobooks just in my general day-to-day life. I did write a post where I talked about what I like to do when I am listening to audiobooks to stay focused on the book, but the reason that is because I actually read faster than listening, even at 2 times speed, so I feel like my time is better managed if I'm reading physically. If you need tips to prevent you from buying things on site, I definitely am one of those people who buys the pretty things. I'm like, oh, the cover's pretty, I need to have it because it's pretty and it'll look good on my shelf and I want it. So I'm not the best at this. I will buy pretty things even if I'm not the most interested in the plot, just because I want the pretty thing for my collection. I would suggest holding that book in your hands and asking yourself, do I need this? If the answer is no, as it most likely would be, you can say, okay, do I want this? Yes. Do I want this for reading right away? Do I want this for reading later? Is this going to be here when I'm ready to read it, meaning that you can come back to the library and get it, or it will be in the bookstore, it's not going anywhere. If it's a used book or like a first edition or a signed copy, maybe that's something that you're more willing to buy now because you might not get the same book later. But for the most part, in the modern age, we can find books later. So if you don't have the means to pay for it, or you are on a book buying ban, or whatever it is, and you feel the urge to do it, say, do I need this? And that's the best I can do. Sometimes I do need them, even though I don't need them. I need it. Of course I need it. It's pretty. But that's something that I have to work on as well. And again, if it's at my library, no harm, no foul. I get that book for free for a couple of weeks, and then I can return it. My last tip is perhaps the harshest and most difficult to do, and even that is true for myself, and that is to honestly go through your bookcase, see all of your unread books, and go, I'm not going to read these. Tell yourself that you're not going to read them because you know whether or not you are. You're holding on to it because, oh, maybe one day. Be honest with yourself. Look at that book and say, do I want to read this? Not right now. Sure, keep it. Not ever, probably. Get rid of it. Donate it. Sell it. Give it to a friend. Give it to somebody who is going to be reading it. And that's one of the easiest things to do. That's all I have for you guys today. I know that this wasn't as fun as talking with Gretchen for a little while, but I'm here to fill in while she's doing fun things going around San Francisco and such. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. You'll see me again tomorrow, although you'll also see Gretchen because we pre-filmed our Betwixt the Books episode. But yes, then you'll see me by myself for our weekly wrap-up this week because again, Gretchen's not here. She abandoned me. She abandoned me. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you then. Bye!